Hi, this is going to be a quick walkthrough of symbolizing data in Placemark. So I'll click through to this map of airport data that I've already imported. Um, so this data has quite a few different properties. It has scale, scale rank, the name of the airport, and so on. And by default, Placemark will draw all points like you see them right now. So they're blue-ish, and when you select them, they become kind of a red magenta color. Um, but for quality assurance and for quickly getting a grasp on what data is available or what data is where, we have this feature called symbolization, or data styles as currently. Um, so here, none basically means that all of the features on the map are going to be displayed exactly the same way. But let's try out categorical. So I know that these have types, and there are a few different types. So if I select categorical and then select the property type, which will look into each feature, find its type property, and find all those values, we can see that these do have, let's say, 12-ish different types, and this will assign them all colors. And so if I click Update, you can see on the map that these points have changed colors based on this, and it's added a legend to the map. So according to this airport in Rabat is a military major airport. And so this is pretty useful in telling the difference between these mid, major, and military airport locations. And we can even tweak the specific colors by going in here and clicking on the color and making spaceports a different color than the rest of them. That's only one of the data styles that you can choose, though. So if I switch to ramp, then I can style this by the national scale. And so instead of taking categories, this is going to assume that your data has some kind of numeric property. And for all of the values of that property, from the lowest to the highest, it'll map that to some color on the scale. And so this is showing the national scale of those airports. If I want to change to the scale rank of those airports, I suspect that this is probably the scale at which you'll display labels to these airports to show more major airports and more minor ones. So the final option is simple style. And since I have this imported data with its own arbitrary properties, I'm going to create a new map to demonstrate this. So let's say that I have a box over the United States, and I'll switch the style to simple style. So when I do this initially, you can't really see any difference. But what simple style does is that it takes a set of properties which are documented under the simple style spec. If you look for that, there's a specification for this. And so they have these names like, let's say, fill. And if I call fill red, and let's say stroke is green, then when I tab off of that feature, you can see that I'm setting these colors in specific for this one feature. So you'll want to use simple style in essentially two cases. The first is if you have some KML file that you've imported and that has styles, or you have some GeoJSON file that you've imported that already has simple style features, and you want to preview those. And the second is if you want to symbolize your map, but you want to do it explicitly through data. So you want to choose the exact color of features rather than, for example, using a categorical color scheme to differentiate between features. So there's plenty of other documentation on this feature, and this is just a quick run through. If you have any other issues, hit up Placemark support. All right, thanks.